Welcome back to Car News on KFWB News Talk 980. What's happening, everybody? It's Dan Rosenberg. And now we're going to talk to, this is so exciting.
It is.
It's very exciting. If you go to greenvehicles.com, they got a bunch of cool cars here. And the president of that company, Mike Ryan, we're going to chat with him real quick. He's in San Francisco, which it seems like the green cars all seem to come out of San Francisco. So let's go ahead and put him on the line so we can talk to him real quick. Hey, Mike, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great. Hey, Dan, how are you?
I'm doing very well. So you're in San Francisco right now?
I am indeed.
You guys have some really cool cars.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
What is the status of all of them? I mean, some of them are on the market currently, correct?
That's right. Yeah, two of them are on the market right now. One is the Triac, which is kind of the flagship vehicle. The other is the Moose, which is really more oriented towards fleets.
Right. So the one that's on your website, the one, 2 wheels in the front, 1 wheel in the back.
Yeah, that's the Triac.
That's the Triac, and that one's not out yet, correct? Or that one's on its way out?
Well, that one's out in an early adopter status. So
okay.
We started delivering that in November last year, and we've been producing small quantities of them. And what we're doing is getting ready to ramp up for volume production in Q1 of 2011.
Okay. And you say 2011. I notice all technical people say 2010, right. 2011.
It's not 2011.
It's not 2011. It's 2011. I completely agree with you. Yeah. Although I still catch myself sometimes doing it. Yeah. Now, what is the status? I know the 3-wheel, there's different rules with the 3-wheeler than there is with the 4. Is that where you guys went with the 3-wheeler?
Yeah, that's part of it. Part of it is that so it does register as a motorcycle.
Right.
So what that does is there are different rules. That's true. We still have some regulation, of course. It does allow you to travel in the HOV lanes with a single occupant, which, since we were, building a freeway commuter,
right.
That's the function of the vehicle. We wanted to make sure that we got the most out of it.
And you won't need a special sticker for that. That's just because it's
exactly right.
A motorcycle.
Because it's essentially a motorcycle.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You got it. That's exactly.
Well, what's the top speed on that?
It's 80 miles an hour.
Wow.
And it goes 100 miles per charge.
Wow.
Yeah. So the idea was get people to and from work, make sure they can do everything that most people do on a daily basis. Pure electric without
being exposed to the elements.
Yeah, you don't have to plug in. We don't need public charging infrastructure. You just do what you do.
There was another one that was out. Not that I don't want to give them a plug. I honestly can't remember their name, but they also had a 3-wheeler, but it was all very cheap looking. Yours looks like the future. I mean, it looks like it's supposed to look like if it's a futuristic electric vehicle.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, it was interesting. There was an independent film, and I won't be able to plug them either, but they used the vehicle as a futuristic cop car. So, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Happy with that. We like that. Huge numbers.
Now, yours obviously is getting 100 miles on a charge. I know the Chevy Volt comes out, which is a lot more money. It's
right.
getting 40 miles on a charge.
Right.
What would it be? Are you using the same battery technology? Are you using a better technology, a smaller technology, a different technology?
Yeah, we're absolutely using a different and better technology. In fact, that's one of the areas, my background is electrical engineering, and, one of the things, I don't know what it is with the major OEMs, if they're too conservative or if they're just not tuned into the technology enough to, take the deep dive that you need. But we're still in the lithium-ion space, but there's quite a few, variations on lithium-ion technologies, and what we're using, I would say, represents the state of technology.
And I mentioned the price. Obviously, I said that the Volt's going to be more money. What is the retail when yours is officially out in the mainstream? What's the retail price on yours?
Well, actually, so it's right now it's $24,995, and so regionally, and actually LA would be considered local enough. We're talking about California, basically,
right.
Doing an early adopter. So that's out at $24,995. What we're doing on the higher volume rollout is we're configuring the vehicle for people's needs. So we will have the 100-mile vehicle. We think we can get that down to $23,995, but for the moment, we're saying $24,995. Then we'll sell a 75-mile vehicle and a 50-mile vehicle. And essentially the difference is in the battery pack, but because the cost is so significantly affected by the cost of the batteries, that's going to save an additional $3,000 for people. Hey, if you're driving around 20 miles a day typically, and that's all you need, you get a 50-mile vehicle, and that's going to service your needs.
And now with that federal tax credit, how does that affect yours?
It helps us, and also there's a state rebate as well. I think I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head. I think we're benefited by somewhere in the neighborhood of $5,000 from the price. It scales with the size of the battery pack, and we have actually the same size battery pack as the Nissan Leaf.
Wow.
Yeah, 20.
And that one's also coming out. So it's kind of nice that, some of the so-called mainstream companies are coming out with things similar. So they're going to do a little educating for people, and then people are going to start researching and find you guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I think. I know that, a year ago I was having to fight a lot of battles about, well, why would you have a pure electric vehicle? And now with, the major OEMs coming into the market, it really legitimizes the market. People understand that, hey, there is a function for this. People that really want to do something environmentally friendly, this is on that far end, and some people fall on that far end of the spectrum, and that's great.
Now, is it a two-passenger, or is there a back seat? I can't tell from the picture.
It's a two-passenger. There's a back seat. There's a back area, and there's room for gym bags and.
Or a friend you don't really like, you can store them back there.
Yeah, exactly.
And as far as safety, because it's a motorcycle, technically, you don't have to have the same safety requirements, or.
That's true. Although I would say,
rolling?
I like to say it's the safest motorcycle in the universe. From a pure business model point of view, it's important for us because people see the vehicle and it feels like a car. We have to make sure that people have the same result if they do have a collision.
I can finally get a motorcycle without my mom being worried.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you doing getting a motorcycle? You're crazy. I'm like, no, it's all enclosed. I'm safe.
That's right. And you will be.
So it has seat belts. It has all that fun stuff.
It has seat belts, yeah, absolutely. And, and we take, the crash aspects very seriously, every aspect of safety.
All right, a couple questions I'm sure that people were wondering. Does it have a radio? Does it have air conditioning? Does it have navigation? Are these options in it as well?
These are options. Right now it doesn't have navigation, but actually that's one of the areas where, the technical, because we're appealing to a technical crowd, I think, to a large extent. And so that's one of the areas where I think we're going to really shine. We're creating an IT system that will go into the January vehicle that's really focused on energy efficiency and sort of solving the range anxiety issues. So we have something called a range halo that will overlay the navigational system, and it's a nice feature. It's going to help people feel more comfortable about that they are going to get to where they need to go.
In other words, you're saying that you'll have sort of the theoretical range of the car at its current charge within a navigation map that'll have kind of a heads-up display inside the car? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it is that, and I would say it's even one step further. So what we're doing is there's some data logging in the car, and so as you're driving the vehicle, everyone drives differently. We know that, and so I think some of the data is that you get something like a 30% or greater difference in range depending on who's driving the vehicle. So,
I know that's true. My wife gets 8 miles a gallon. I get 28. I don't know how she does it.
Well, that's exactly right, and that's just reality. So what you need to do in order to really represent how far you're going to make it is you need to be logging the data and parsing through that data and calculating, okay, what's my burn rate? And so if you use that burn rate from the last 10 minutes of driving, that's going to more accurately represent how far you really are going to be able to go, and that will be reflected in the halo that encircles your current location. So it really raises the accuracy. It gives you something that you can rely on, which is really important because we don't want people sitting on the side of the road.
So the website is greenvehicles.com.
Yep.
Everybody get all the information they need. If they want to buy any of your other vehicles, because you do have some that are currently out there, they can contact you for that.
Yep.
Another quick question. I noticed a lot of times in green vehicles, like the Prius, people couldn't believe they came out with leather because they just immediately assumed that everybody that was green also was a vegan for some reason or a vegetarian.
Right.
Do you have an upgraded interior? Are you going to do leather? Is it only cloth?
Well, no, we'll have something that's like leather, but it won't be leather. And for us, because the Prius again, hey, they're actually more middle of the road in I think the current spectrum as far as environmentally speaking. We are going to be on the far end. We are trying to be the most environmentally friendly form of transportation. Getting to and from work outside of a skateboard or roller skate.
Has Ed Begley Jr. contacted you yet, or have you contacted him yet?
Has who?
Ed Begley Jr. I'm sure he's going to want one of these.
Not yet, no. I'll be happy to take his call.
He's Mr. Green. I'm sure Jay Leno would probably want one too. He's
right.
kind of green as well.
No doubt.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for taking some time on your Saturday and talking to us.
Oh, no, happy to. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah,
no problem. And definitely, everybody, check out Green Vehicles.